It's your boy Lukemindpower. Welcome to the Mind Power Show. Another day, another blessing. Hope you're having an amazing day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are around the world. I'm feeling strong, as you can see, made of strength. It's very, very important that you give yourself props and you tell yourself how incredible you are and that you are strong and that you are confident and that you're made of love. You know, it's a big key that I have found that works with me. And you reinforce your positivity, reinforce who you are as a person, and that gives you more motivation, more confidence to go out there and use your life to its fullest potential. Today I've got a special guest coming all the way live from Fresno, California. Her name is Destiny. She's a motivational speaker, and her vocabulary is incredible. And I connected with her through another person who I interviewed, Stefan, and he's amazing as well. And I'm really excited to get to know her more. And I'm going to invite hear her story and see what her vision is for her future and what she wants to do.
Hello.
Hey,
I can't do it the other way.
Can you switch it?
I don't think I can. That's as good as it's going to get for me, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Unless I hold it. Which we can try this. I can hold it.
You got it. Hey, so Destiny, welcome to the Mind Power Show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we connected about, I don't know, it's been a week or so, and I've been watching your journey and connecting with your story and what you stand for. So give us a bit of an insight deeper as to what you actually do right now and what you're aspiring to become.
So right now I am blessed to work where I do, and it's definitely one of the most amazing jobs that I could have possibly had. Needless to say, it's not my passion, but at the same time, I am 110% respectful of where I am. So I work in a construction company. We're at a construction company. And if I were to say where I want to be more so fulfilling my heart and my purpose. And a lot of the times that's literally just connecting with people, hearing people out, having amazing conversations. And that's pretty much what I enjoy doing.
That's amazing. We connected obviously, and we've been communicating, and I remember asking you about your mission or your vision for your life. And obviously you were talking about different areas until you said that you actually want to be a motivational speaker. So where do you get this ability from yourself to actually want to be that change agent, to actually want to make a difference in other people's lives? Where's that coming from?
It just honestly comes from the purest place in my heart. I've always been very empathetic. I know pain very well, as many of us do, except I recognize that I've been able to utilize that to fuel me at times. And it's interesting because many times I think it comes from a very empathetic view. It comes from a place of recognizing that a lot of things nowadays are very superficial. So for me to finally recognize that I just have the freedom and the ability to speak and express myself, for people to mirror that back to me, and for over years, people kind of reiterating that to me, I finally just decided to kind of run with it. And for me, it's not the amount of people, it's just knowing that I'm impacting someone to see past, to see through their tough time, to see through the day, to see through the circumstance and obstacles, to understand that there's so much more than that. And I really do find a pure joy. It's exhilarating. It brings me this really insane, pure energy to just connect with people on that level. And it's been in the last few months that people have actually been like, which is so strange, right? Like, have you considered being a motivational speaker? And so that's when it's kind of just like when you begin to pray and seek out your purpose, or, meditate and just kind of ponder, like, what am I really here for? What really, because at the end of the day, I'm just I recognize the fact that this body will leave me, that this is not exactly who I am. And so for me, knowing that, recognizing that, embracing that has really just been more so what am I going to leave behind? How am I really going to imprint for the better?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Yeah, so people open up to me very much so, and I think just I put an energy out there where people are easy to respond to me, and I kind of just taken that and ran with it in kind of behind closed doors. I've done that for years, and I'm just a genuine person that's there for people because I know what it's like to feel like the world's against you at times. So that's kind of
100%. You mentioned legacy, and this is a concept of life that I never actually thought about. And when I went through this transition last year, and I had a day where I actually did an exercise about envisioning my death and envisioning the people that would be at my funeral and what they would actually say about me. And it made me, it literally, it was a day of transcendence for me. It changed my life. It changed the way that I thought. And now I live every single day knowing that it could be my last, and I want to be the best that I can be and help as many people as I can, and know that if I go, that there will be people around the world speaking about me, about the good things that I did, and it's such a powerful thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%, and to kind of press forward, like to just know that you change people's lives. And I feel like that's one thing people take for granted, and they undermine themselves so deeply. We literally make a change every single day that we decide to participate, whether that be in any way. And so that's why I think since I was a young child, I just was, again, very empathetic. I could understand and kind of see things playing out and recognize just people's emotions, body language, and things like that. And so I just really, and again, it comes from a pure place, so it's not forced, but I think that really moves me to help people and help people to see that they really are the change they want to see in the world. And for the longest time, be the change you want to see in the world. Gandhi, I believe that's his quote. And it just really impressed on me. And that doesn't have to be in the most magnificent way. We can be the change within our home, within our community, within our workplace, and that's the beauty of it. Social media gives us the platform to really expand on that and reach people. Like you're in Sydney, Australia, I'm in Fresno, California. It gives us the ability to connect with like-minded people. And I've had people reach out to me. A woman from Switzerland reached out to me, and she was like, I don't even know how I found your page. And my page personally has been private up until last week, so I don't know how she found me either. But the bottom line is she found me, and she verbalized and expressed her great gratitude towards my posts. And that really hits home for me when someone goes out of their way to be vulnerable enough to expose themselves to me and say, hey, honestly, there's days you get me through. There's days that you are speaking right to me. And in all reality, I'm really just speaking from my heart. There is no agenda. There is no checklist as to what to say. And that's what I want people to see, that they really are the change they want to see in the world. You can leave that imprint. And so when you do your best and you put out your best, it's your best, whether it's, whether you're having a bad day or not. If you're doing your best, people will see that, honor that, thrive off that, feed off that, and embrace you in those moments. And so I think just in knowing that we are the change we want to see in the world changed my interactions with people, changed my level of patience, changed the way I really seen life as happening for me. And so at this point in time, failure is for me. Everything is for me. And I think when people just adopt that and empower themselves in that, it's like, you can't really have a bad day. You can acknowledge like, that didn't really go my way or however. But even then, you're working through it. And because you decided to work through it and catch yourself, it's like you're growing constantly, which is just, I don't know, that really makes me just excited because, yeah, it just does.
It's amazing. And you know what? Like, I never knew about this whole, consciousness of my being, my conscious of my surroundings, consciousness of what I'm doing, who I'm surrounding myself with, how I'm making myself better, what I'm listening to, how much negativity there is out there, and realizing that when you're living, having this concept of everything is happening for me, following your intuition and know that everything's happening for a reason, you just start to live differently. You raise your vibration of your positivity, of your life, of your worth, of who you are as a person. It's incredible, and I've changed my life for it. But listening to your story and what you're going through now, I feel that you're going through a transition where you're stepping into who you really are. You're stepping into your greatness, and it's so inspiring. And you mentioned to me before that you went to a Tony Robbins event. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yes. So for me, the year 2019 has just been exceptional. And I think that you're right in the sense that 2017 was just so much change. I really had to cling to and respect that life was happening for me. And Stefan and I had decided to go to Tony Robbins. And if you, just like anything else, if you're willing to be raw, honest, and like, for example, you go to the gym, if you show up and you put in the work, you're going to get the results. Same exact thing. So there was naysayers, oh, you spent too much money on that, it's garbage. Those are all personal opinions. I respect that, but at the end of the day, I engaged on a level so deep at that seminar, and I was so vulnerable and honest with myself that I verbalized things that I keep in here. You know what I'm saying? We all have voices that try to remind us of our past, that try to say you're not, oh, you're too old, you don't have time, and so for me to come face to face with all my personal limiting beliefs was embarrassing, because I'm like, why do I feed myself this? Like, why do I do this to myself? But it was just a moment where I exerted energy from my soul, from the deepest part of me. And I decided at those moments that I'm going to embrace me and come, of all things, I kind of express this to you. My name is Destiny Hope. Like, what are the odds of that? And so for so many years growing up, people were like, Destiny, your name is so beautiful. Oh, do you know what that means? Blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to live up to that name. Like, why did they name me that? But yeah, so that, and then, that whole entire seminar was essentially just me coming to terms with limiting beliefs that I am no longer participating in, but it's also put me on a track to where when those things do come up and those triggers come up, I now recognize them and I take responsibility for them. And I'm just really able to work through it. And so for me, I think anyone that has the opportunity to be intentional with what they consume, and especially content wise, and things like that. That seminar was just a room full of 15,000 people that were there for growth. And I think that I was telling you earlier, I think sometimes within our inner circles, by default, our inner circles are by default. And whether that's childhood friends, people we work with, family members, we kind of just, like, again, we just hang out with these people because we kind of have to. And so that seminar just showed me that there's thousands of people that are so capable, so powerful, so willing, so hungry for growth, that if you just continue to place yourself intentionally around those people, you and I have been communicating for a little over a week. The energy is insane. Like, I get a message and I'm like, yes, like, my friend Luke, where are you at? So, you know what I mean? It just, and then again, sometimes, like, people in your inner circle, I don't think it's intentional by any means, or sometimes it may be, but just to be intentional with where I put my time and energy, I am, like, literally going to be going back to more seminars and pouring back into myself, because it all flows from within, And so that kind of really opened my eyes to so many different tactics, techniques, habits that I had that I was just willing to come to terms with and make change.
You got to nourish to flourish, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's incredible, like it's a constant, your life is a constant process of either doing nothing, doing the same thing, or growing. And as soon as I started tapping into, I got out of my comfort zone and I realized I could do it. I realized I could do something that normally I thought was impossible.
Right.
Now I'm addicted to, like, just growing. Now I'm addicted. I'm obsessed with learning and whatever's going to allow me to continue to evolve and be stronger. And I'm overwhelmed with the amount of growth that I have had. And it's testament to you as well. When I communicate with you and you speak, you're motivating me, because I'm like, man, listen to this girl speak. Like, it's amazing. Like, you should be really proud of yourself with the way that you, give off this positivity, energy, your mindset, and I'm sure that anyone who comes into interaction with you feels that you're vibrating on a frequency that is, like, next level.
Yeah. And I love that and that's exactly what we're here to create. This is, and you said it earlier, your authenticity, it flows from a place where it's just like, you know what? I feel like we see the potential in people. We see the potential for conversation, and that's all it is. It's just empowering others and naturally it empowers you to break down those barriers and stereotypes. It's like, no, we all have phones. I get it. We all are busy. I get it. We all have a click. I get it. But at the end of the day, there's so much potential in the people around us and through connection. And so again, it's just being a pure person, saying hello, giving a compliment, initiating a conversation. And those are the moments where I connect with people that I never think I would. But I'm like, you know what? I'm sitting here in line waiting for my coffee anyway. I might as well spark a conversation. And
Yes.
And through that, I have a friend actually who was at Starbucks, and just through conversation, she quoted Les Brown, and what do you know? Within a day or two, she's on the phone with the Les Brown through communication. And again, it's not to come from an agenda. It's not to have an agenda, but it's just the pure, the luxury of being able to communicate is so beautiful. And I mean, I think it's exciting personally. But again, too, it's getting to know people through their eyes, through their life, because we can't all live the same life. And that's why I honor people so much in their path, no matter where they are, because if they're at a low, at one point in time, I pray that they're able to, get past that and then utilize those experiences to then connect with people that can, relate to those lows. And so I just think everybody is just amazing. I think as the individuals that we are, it's just really, really beautiful to empower each other, truly.
Definitely. I completely resonate with what you're saying. And, there's so many people out there that are living, not living to their full potential, because of the lack of self-belief, because of these limiting beliefs, because of, these inner conversations and this self-doubt that you have inside yourself, because, we live in a materialistic world, and by looking at social media, by looking at YouTube, by looking at these people who are wealthy and these entrepreneurs and billionaires, we're looking constantly at the end result.
Yes.
But we're not willing to put in the work and follow the process and go through the journey of actually getting there. And so that's why so many people give up at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Because they say, how am I going to do it?
Yeah.
And it's not about how, it's about making a decision. Do you want to do it or not? Say yes, and then just start.
Yes.
And you'll learn along the way.
So exactly that. And not only that, I think we get stuck because we ask ourselves how. And that's a really big question to ask depending on the goal. And so at that point in time, when you just begin to visualize daily that success already, naturally you begin doing this, and naturally you begin to see ways to make it happen. Not only that, if you hold yourself accountable, it's doing the things when you don't want to do them. That's a lot of what it really, really comes down to. Always in the mood to go to the gym. I'm not always in the mood to clean. I'm not always in the mood to do the things the mundane that I have to do. But I know by accumulation and by routine and by constantly putting myself in that position, I'm going to get there. And so that's why I just am very specific as to what I listen to. And I heard you say that you also do this. Your commute should be it should be a mobile classroom, and there's times where I listen to music, sure, but there's more times where I'm listening to content that's feeding my mind, that is keeping, because life and circumstances are all too relevant for all of us and at one point in time or another. And so for me to take control of that part of my life, because you can only control what you can control. So in 10 years, 5 years, I don't know when my time is over, but at the end of the day, I just have to live knowing I choose to live knowing that I tried my best, and I give myself grace. And that's something that's been very new to me, because I think for all of us that, we cling to these titles and to these responsibilities, and I respect that, and I acknowledge that. But a lot of times too, we have to be graceful to ourselves. And so many times we're quick to go, where did we didn't do today, what we didn't accomplish. And it's like, no, things maybe didn't go according to plan, but I got XYZ done, and I was productive in these areas, and I did do this. And so there's just so much information out there. You just have to, there's only 24 hours in a day, right? So it's like, I just try to back as best as I can and wake up and go to sleep with a grateful heart at the end of the day, because we are way too blessed. Like, we are just so
100%. Yeah. Being grateful has really shifted my mindset in staying positive. And there's so much to be grateful for. We're really blessed to be healthy, to have two hands, to have 2 feet. There are people that don't have limbs, and there's, so much to be grateful. And it really does, I start my day with gratitude, and it really puts you in that positive frame of mind. But in saying that, I want to ask you about adversity. What can you give us an insight a little bit about yourself, about, you know, something that was really difficult that you had to deal with in your life that maybe has shaped you to the way that you are now?
So there's several things, and in saying this is coming from a place where I'm a victor at this point. I used to view myself as a victim through certain points in my lifetime, due to my age, due to just variations of things that kind of allowed me to feed into poor me at times, which is understandable because, again, circumstances are relevant, but they don't define us. Growing up, my mother suffered with bipolar depression, and so that was something that I would see very much so. It was not a normal household. And so that was one thing that has really, really shaped me to understand the mental state and to be very curious, and to be very open and understanding. So that's one thing. Love my mother beyond words. At this point in time, she's doing well. Everyone deals with stress differently. There's so many different triggers. And so for me, it just opened my mind to be very much so not judgmental. So that's one thing. I think growing up, that element taught me so much. And another thing I would say more recently, that's a little bit more situational, I guess, to me and to many others out there, is as of recent, I'm a widowed mother. And so for a year, that was like so overwhelming for me to take on the role and the responsibility of being an active mother that now has to fulfill two roles. That is currently still very intense for me. But it's exhilarating in the sense that, again, I view life as happening for me, not to me. And so it allows me, that alone allows me to really dive into what I can be doing in that moment. And I take it as this: we don't all have the same strengths. We don't all have the same weaknesses. And so I take everything that comes onto my plate as, I can deal with this. This was made for me. I'm going to work through this. I'm not going to negate the issue. I'm not going to hide it under the rug. I'm going to face this, and I'm going to go through the emotions, and I'm going to go through whatever this situation and season is bringing to me, and I'm going to get past it. And with that just is, again, it adds to my testimony or my testimony, because at the end of the day, each of our stories is so unique. So in regards to adversity, I think, you know, I've had the typical heartbreak. You know, I've gone through those pains, and when you just begin to question who you are and why is this happening to you, and you feel the pain and you feel the emotion, and it's so real and it hurts, and you want it to go away, and you question all the different things that you can do to block it out, you know, whether that's music, and some of us turn to alcohol, some of us utilize drugs, and all these different things that we do. And I think the moments that I engaged in those behaviors, I was quick to realize it didn't settle well with my gut. I kind of just knew it was more damaging in the long run. And not all of us have that. Some of us, you know, are on a certain path for an extension of years. And again, I respect every single, you know, way that we all go, because it adds to our individual story. So in regards to adversity, I would say right now, it have to be the transition of being, a truly single parent. And I love that role. But it definitely knowing that I'm defining this little human being and also embracing him and his character and all these different crazy elements. It's been a test on me financially, mentally, just all mentally, you know, physically I have makeup on. So thank goodness you can't see the bags under my eyes. But yes, it's been a very trying year. And through that, I thank God, because I know it's happening for me. I know it's not happening to me. There's just no way that life's happening to me, because I choose to work through and I choose to use it as fuel. Everything is fuel.
Amazing. You know what? You are absolutely powerful, you know, because to have that kind of resiliency, to be conscious of your situations that you're dealing with, and then to be able to filter through all those emotions that are going through your body, that are going through your soul, and as difficult as it may have been, you still managed to find some gratitude. You still managed to find some way to push forward. And there are many people out there that are broken, that are in pain, that are, whether they're, you know, they've lost someone, or if it's a divorce, and this is far too common, you know. So a single parent, and to be able to speak your truth, come from vulnerability of your own journey, and put out the message that you're putting out is so powerful. And, you know, the world is waiting for destiny to really, like, show up, and you are showing up, and this is the start of the rest of your life. And I'm sure that everyone who watches this is going to be so proud of you, and as am I. So congratulations on your position right now.
Thank you very much. And it just reiterates to me too, like, we are not our circumstances. And I hope everybody realizes that, because we are not your circumstance. It's painful. It's scary. Change is always interesting. Growth is interesting. And if you, again, just take the time to stop and appreciate everything, I think that will and again, too, be mindful of who you're surrounding yourself with. I've been very fortunate to have a select few in my corner that have been that voice when I'm at a low, because we're always, at one point or another, we're going to be at a low. So again, advice that I would give is just be very aware of what you're listening to, and if you can't find that in human form, there's social media to connect with people like Luke and myself. And that's the beauty of it. There's people that see your potential even when you don't. And there's people that are just excited to see that potential explode and become and manifest into something that's just absolutely phenomenal and unique. So I love it.
Definitely. Look, to tap into your real inner potential and to tap into like your gift or your talent or what you actually have to offer, it is not easy. Most people struggle to find their purpose, as I did for such a long time. But what I did work out, and I'm sure that you'll agree with me, is that you need to stretch yourself. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to start doing things that you are afraid of, or that normally you would say, no, I don't want to do that, because it's the fear of the unknown. It's that fear of, feeling anxiety, and you don't want to feel like that. But that's what's going to make you stretch. How do you grow muscles? You go to the gym and you work out your bicep, and it gets bigger or it gets stronger. So it's the same thing with your brain. Exactly. You got to do things to, recalibrate it, right?
Exactly. I agree 100%. And that's the beauty of being able to connect so easily. If you do one thing a week, start off maybe a month, and I've always been the person that I just love new things. I really, really do. And I know we're not all that way, but find a friend that is that way and just kind of go along for the ride. And you'd be surprised the confidence you build within yourself, because the more and more that you expose yourself to something new and you actually have a great experience, it builds that confidence. It builds that confidence to crave it and want to do that again. And there's things like Meetup and so many different social events that Toastmasters, you can just get up and join like-minded people and expand and break past, because there is a fear of failure, but there's also fear of success. And that was really interesting to me at Tony Robbins, that I kind of uncovered that. I think we all know that we are potential badasses. We just don't want to initiate the change and growth and confrontation with ourselves that's going to require from us. And the minute that you are just excited about it and you just, oh my goodness, it's happening, and it happens. And it's, trust me, I was nervous for this year interview. I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm doing it time. And then the camera thing didn't want to work, and I'm like, oh my God. But we're here now. And this is the first of many. And that's the beautiful thing, is anytime you try something new, you just build that confidence and that relationship with yourself, and on to the next. You can accomplish anything.
Definitely. This allows you to evolve. This is like Tony Robbins says, repetition is the mother of skill, right? And it's so true. The more you do something, the better you're going to get at it, right? But you mentioned something there about people are afraid of success. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
From my personal point of view, fear of success. Because success, when you're on a journey and you don't, for example, you can pick a job, you can pick certain things, and you know the end goal. You know your box. You know exactly where your comfort zone lies. When you engage in a path that is your calling, it's limitless. You don't know where it's going to end. You don't know the end result. And it's untapped. It's uncapped. It's beyond what you can imagine. And when you begin to engage and embark on that journey, it is exhilarating. It's a different kind of fear. I don't know if I'd consider it fear, but it's definitely unknown, and it's uncharted territory. And every part of that's going to require a different part of you. And I think sometimes maybe we don't want that responsibility. Maybe we don't want that recognition. And again, when it flows from a place from within, it's just you being yourself. And so I think that's why I find it so beautiful when people just hone in on what makes them them. I'm not a hairstylist. I'm not a makeup artist. I'm not all these different things, but people are those things, and they utilize their platforms to do amazing things. And so again, I think the fear of success just has to do with the unknown. And the unknown is brilliant. It really is a beautiful place because you can create it. That's the gorgeous thing about it. When you have a definition of where you're going, you're within that box, and we feel in control. So that's been kind of my understanding of fear of success, is what is it going to require of me? And just to visualize myself in that platform, I think I shared with you, my whole thing is definitely, I see myself as a philanthropist. I see myself as a speaker, speaking on behalf of my pain, on behalf of my experience. Why do you need to experience things that I've already hurt through? If you're willing to listen and take people's wisdom. And so for me, just seeing that, I don't know, it's limitless. And I think that is somewhat scary for a lot of people. And I don't know, maybe I'm alone in that thought process, but I think it's great.
Yeah, it is. You're stepping definitely in, like I say, follow your dreams because they know the way. And imagination is such a powerful tool with your mindset. You know what I mean? And I truly believe that if you can imagine it in your mind, then it's possible. And that's how I live. And I know definitely that, the imagination process of myself, I still consider myself an introvert, right? And that's why it was so difficult for me to actually step into this level of this greatness that I have now, of my abilities to speak, inspire, motivate, because I was afraid to speak, right? And it's that fear of the unknown. It's that getting out of your comfort zone. It's you don't want to do something that you feel judgment. You feel other people are going to look at you and judge you for the way that you speak or the way that you look. And it's a lot of different conditioning from growing up, from whatever you went through when you were younger, to get to this point now in your life where you're like, okay, I'm at the crossroads. Like, which way do I go? Do I continue doing the same thing, or do I go and be great? And I decided to be great.
I made that decision. Right, I am great. Thank you very much. Oh my God, I love it. And I mean, that's exactly it, though. I mean, I think just to admire you coming from a place of just doing it. And a lot of times people it's always in the moments where I'm just like, I feel like saying this. I feel like doing this. I feel like expressing this, because there's no agenda behind it. It's just a matter of me saying. And again, another thing too is really interesting. Earlier, we kind of mentioned how we have the ability, right? Because we have our health and all these different things. But there are so many people that don't have hands, arms, certainly, and they still find a way. And so again, yeah, no matter what your circumstances, there's beauty in it if you just decide to embrace it, if you decide to embrace who you are. And so for me, I think I've been prejudged a lot of times, and unfortunately, I've made friendships with a lot of people to when they're then able to communicate to me, you're really pretty, but you're actually nice. And I'm like, I always thought that was the weirdest thing someone could say, like, you're actually nice. And I'm like, why wouldn't I be? Like, I am so beyond this. And that's the beauty of people. Like, I really don't judge people based off of, I don't care to, because it's the most shallow thing ever. And so again, I think the beauty in you communicating the way that you do, involving people the way that you are, is brilliant to see, because it just shows the diversity of and the so many different variations and packaging of people and all the potential and things that they have to offer. Like, everyone is just, I love it. We're all so perfect in our own way.
100%. And it's all about living your truth. It's all about, really uncovering yourself and speaking from the heart, being vulnerable, and just, it's crazy to think that there are people out there that are not living their own lives. They're hiding behind a mask because they can't be themselves because of everything external. Everything external is controlling your reality. And it's like, man, I know we come from a life of culture and history, and our parents brought us up in a certain way, and they were taught in a certain way. So they put forward what is right, what is wrong, and then you get surrounded by your peers and school and university, whatever, and you're constantly conditioned, but not actually living your own truth. And it's a really overwhelming experience for myself to actually not be afraid to speak my truth, to not be afraid to actually give off my vulnerability in expressing the pain or the struggle or the not feeling like I wasn't good enough for such a long time. And there are many people out there that need to hear this, because they probably, everyone's different. Not everyone is going to step into their greatness or step into their purpose like myself, what I'm doing, and have the courage to do it. But if I speak, then maybe they'll hear me and they'll go, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And not only that, I think it comes from a place of quieting out. Like we have to recognize the world that we live in and the setup that is so prominent. We literally are programmed since day one to act, do certain things, think a certain way, right? We then get jobs, 40 hours immediately taken from us. We have to do that in order to survive because we need money. So when really, if you think about it, once you add in all these different factors, when do people really have the time? When are we taught to have quiet time, to shut off all the noise, to think for ourselves, to feel ourselves, to validate our thoughts, to question things? And so a lot of times it makes sense to me, and I recognize how there's this cycle and how it's so relevant. And so for me, that's exactly why I chose to make I make the decisions that I do in regards to exposing myself to content that is valuable, because I do work 40 hours. I do have a family. I do have a personal life. I try to maintain a social life when I can. And so there's all these different elements to it. And so in reading books and all these different things, it really just puts a light on the fact that we're here for so much more. And when we take the time to, again, go through and question who we are, what do we want, what are our limiting beliefs, and do these different practices, it really puts us in touch with who we are. But so many people don't know who they are, because when do you have the time? When is that promoted? It's not. What's promoted, if you just listen to music, is don't know who you are. In fact, the struggle's real, don't face it, all these different things. But in all reality, that's where the beauty lies, because the minute that you get in touch with yourself, it's liberating. It's insane. And at that point in time, you're just like, oh my gosh. And so another thing too much comparison in society. Sorry, like the comments are coming in, I'm reading them.
No, it's true.
Yeah, comparison is the thief of joy. There was a point in time in high school when, I grew up Pentecostal. I'm not sure if anyone realizes what that is, but it is definitely a very conservative religion in regards to your physical appearance. So I didn't wear makeup. I had very long hair. I was covered from head to toe, basically. And I was looked at very differently, and it was hard for me to recognize and to own up to my individuality, because I was the odd one out. And so, but in doing that, it kind of put me in a position to I didn't have the visual was not relevant to me, if that makes sense. I didn't base my body. I didn't show my body to get attention. I didn't do anything in one way to get attention. So from the beginning, I was just a person. I just always viewed myself as a soul, as an expression, as a fellow human being. I never put myself in any one way. And I think that that's unfortunate that now we have so much in our face to look a certain way, dress a certain way, have a certain lifestyle, live in a certain house, wear a certain clothes, that it's all so visual. And in all reality, if you need to be able to close your eyes and feel your existence and the people and the energy around you, that's where the beauty truly is. This will leave us. I will be old one day, or maybe tomorrow I won't put any makeup on and I'll just look like a totally different person. And so that's, the beauty is just connecting with yourself, because it empowers you beyond the physical, beyond. And then it's,
what, I'm sure that, and I know this because, I was very self-conscious. I didn't feel like I fit in. I was always taller than everyone. I thought that being taller than everyone was not good. Now I love it. Because I love myself, because I've accepted myself for who I am, and I embrace my life and my flesh, my spirit, But in saying that, I know that we compare ourselves. It's just like a reaction that we have because of everything that's around us, materialism and social media and all these wealthy people that promote this. At the end of the day, what's money about? Sex sells, right? So that it's such a big market for showing off your body and comparison. It's just, what do you do? But We're here to promote positivity, to promote self-love, to promote people to believe in themselves. It doesn't matter what you look like. So in saying that, there was a moment in January where I was comparing myself to the likes of Jay Shetty, Trent Sheldon, these motivational powerhouses that, when they speak, they are just coming from a different frequency. And I'm listening to them speak and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking to myself, there is no way that I can be like them. But, that was my automatic reaction where I said, man, can I really be as good as them? And my automatic reaction was, hang on a second, bro. You don't need to be like them. Yeah. You need to be like you. You need to be the best you. And you don't compare yourself to anyone else because no one has what you have. No one has the heart that you have. No one has the spirit, the soul, the energy, and the power that Lukemindpower has. And that is the way that I live my life now every single day.
Mm-hmm. And it's the experience too. That is what I tell everyone. No matter your past, embrace it. Call out the elephant in the room in yourself. Acknowledge your wounds. Acknowledge your pain. Acknowledge your mistakes. Acknowledge what you regret. That's fine. Don't utilize that anymore to hold yourself back. Recognize it, grow from it, and boom, face it.
Yes.
That's the beauty in it, because there's everyone can connect on a different level with someone, and I think I posted something earlier today in the sense of you can't help everyone, but no one can help everyone, but everyone can help someone, and that's the beauty in it. When you embrace who you are, you're singular. You are a singular person. We all are very singular people. You cannot be recreated anywhere, and I think the moment that people embrace that, that's where it's at. That's where it's at.
100%. You are different, and that's what makes you perfect. So go out and live your truth, live your life to the best of your ability, and stop comparing yourself to others and worrying about what other people think of you. Straight up.
Mm-hmm. There's too much. Yeah, we can focus on ourselves in the day-to-day. Like, honestly, I'm trying to be the best version of myself, because that's all I can control. That's all that I'm here to be, is me. And so I think the moment that we literally look at whatever, embrace our insecurities as well. I mean, for me, there's just been certain tactics that I've taken to embrace my insecurities and to say, you know what, this does not define me. This will not define me. This is not who I am at all. And I'm so much more.
100%.
And so I think the moment that we all do that and make light of that and embrace who we are, it's freeing for us. It's freeing for us as the individual to say, hey, you know what? This is my story. This is my body. This is my experience. And here it is. And
yes. And that's, you mentioned freedom. It is like, come on, live in this present moment right now. Take a breath and realize that you are free. Yes. You are free to do whatever it is that you desire. But you have to, I guess, have the courage. You have to build up that positivity. And there's, we're not going to go into everything because, there's so much that will allow you to propel yourself into that momentum of becoming amazing. And you're already amazing. But I want to ask you finally about your ambitions, your dreams, and where you see yourself. Let's say in 2 or 3 years' time. Like, where do you see Destiny?
So Destiny is in a point of her life where she is acknowledging that she is Destiny. That is what I am acknowledging at this point in my life. I am in a place of, I'm in a timing of action. Right now, I'm setting myself up. I've acknowledged the full circle. I've acknowledged where I need to be financially in order to accomplish some of these things. I've acknowledged where I need to be mentally, emotionally. I'm addressing and calling myself out on all the habitual things that have kind of gotten me here. I am at a point of complete gratitude. So in 2 to 3 years, Destiny will be a brilliant woman who is building. And that's where I am. That's where I'm headed. That's what I'm doing. I am taking every day moment by moment, and I am acknowledging what needs work and what's improving. And Destiny is getting out of her comfort zone, and Destiny is empowering others. And I really am just embracing my name. My name is Destiny Hope. Like, come on, guys. And so with that being said, I don't know what just I don't know what, and so earlier earlier today, this is what I mean by action. We have this phone that I'm holding in front of me. I am communicating with Luke, who I met a week and a half ago, who is brilliant over phone and wireless connection. But I also utilized my phone earlier today to look at speaking events and to look at seminars. This is my year of action. This is my year of action, and it's scary how readily available this information is. So in all reality, get past what's going on in here. Get past it. Call yourself out. Take action. That's where the beauty is. You know what I mean? And so I'm embracing that right now. Just the overwhelm of support, the overwhelm in breaking past potential that's been hoarded and pent up for such a long time. So yeah, in 2 to 3 years, Destiny will be on a whole different path. I will be really just growing nonstop. That is the goal, to continue to meet people, connect, collaborate, socialize in very pure ways. So I'm excited.
Definitely. That's amazing. It's so awesome. It's inspiring. I can see amazing things happening for you. I'm looking forward to continuing to connect with you and to, support you on your journey, as well as, I truly, I'm thinking about it now and what you were just talking about, and either I'm going to be on stage inviting you to come on stage as the next speaker, or you're going to be on stage inviting me to come on stage.
Is it crazy that I was visualizing that exactly before you said that? See, that's weird.
I see it. I see it.
Definitely. It's going to happen. Again, we're taking massive action towards it. It's from a pure place. And that's the beautiful thing, is finally just embracing it and bringing people along for the ride. And so honestly, I can't wait to meet you in person. I know you're going to be in the States sometime this year. We'll definitely have to make it a point to connect. But yeah, growth, it's all about growth, and it's uncomfortable sometimes. And that's part of it.
Yeah, 100%. It's, so everyone watching out there, take action, go do whatever you can, or join, these big conferences, or, self-development, and just get out of your comfort zone and go and learn and surround yourself. Because, the biggest thing with these, like Tony Robbins events or conferences where it's all personal growth, the things that I love about it is that most of them now are becoming very interactive, and you have to actually integrate the information that they're giving you, and you have to do certain exercises, and it's out of your comfort zone. And I think that is a major factor of your growth. And like you said, that some of the things that you were doing at that event were, out of your comfort zone.
Yes. And that's one of the things that I'm surprised I didn't bring up earlier. So one of the things that has just been a bomb dropped on me was knowledge is not power. So at the end of the day, I can have a mobile classroom. I can constantly consume content. I can have all the intention in the world, but at the end of the day, it's execution. It's just doing it. It's just doing it. It's just trying it, because again, you're going to continue to fail forward. That's your only option. When you're coming from a place where you desire growth, you want more out of life, your intentions are pure, naturally, no matter how things work out, they're working out for you, because you're constantly looking for the lesson and how life is happening for you. It's never happening to you. And that has been revolutionary for me. It's completely just altered my way of thinking in my highs and in my lows. I am grateful no matter what. And again, remember guys, knowledge is not power. It's action, because we know what we should do. We know what we should be doing. We know what we need to do. And it's just a matter of doing it. And that's why I think you're just on fire, because you've started a little ago, but you're doing it. That's the bottom line. Do it.
Thank you. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. Destiny, it has been an absolute pleasure, a privilege, and honor to have you take your time out of your day to come and have a chat with me. This is the start of the rest of our life, and I truly, truly believe that you are a blessing to this world, and the world is waiting to hear your voice. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to link up.
100%. Take care. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Peace. That was Destiny from Fresno, California. She is a motivational speaker, a motivational powerhouse, and the vocabulary on that woman is absolutely extraordinary. The way that she articulates the words that are coming out of her mouth are through her soul and her spirit to empower people on a level that's never been seen before. It's absolutely amazing. And this is the life that I'm living as I connect with people who are growing, who are bettering their lives, and in turn, learning from each other. This is something that I'm going to say all the time. I am as much a teacher as I am a student. You know, never make a settlement in your life, because you can change, you can grow, you can develop, you can become stronger, wiser, and this is the gift that we have of life. You are free. Go out there, show the world what you got, be the best that you can be, because you are extraordinary. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Mind Power Show. This is your boy, Luke Mindpower. I love you and I believe in you. Follow your dreams, because they know the way. I will see you again tomorrow with another episode. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much. See ya.